2 blocks in a blanket for practice as usual. You can go ahead and start the playlist. I'm going to start profile, like sitting profile to you, because we're going to play with 2 different concepts. It's going to be a shoulder class, but I want to start by organizing the pelvis. So in relationship to the upper body, so sit on a block in Virasana or sit cross-legged if that's a better choice for you. And interlace your hands like right at your sacrum, right where like your seat goes into the front of the body, like right at the top of your sacrum. And I want you to arch your back like a cow pose so that chest lifts. We're kind of hyperextending the spine. Maybe not hyperextending, but extending it. And your hips are in flexion. Now, I'm not going to give too much of a lecture for this time of day, but I want you to take that arch out of the lower back by just bringing your sacrum into your hands so that the center of your chest plugs right on top of the center of your pelvis. And we'll do that a couple of times. So arch the back, tilt the pelvis forward, meaning the butt goes back, the hip bones come forward, and then think that you're inhaling. So now let's add the breath into the sacrum, and the sacrum is moving into your hands so that the center of your chest is right over the center of your pelvis, but you still have this openness and availability in your upper back. One more time like that. Breathe in, tilt the pelvis forward, arch the back. So this is like our cat-cow, and then take the arch out of the lower back by letting your lower back move into your hands, right? It's not a tuck of the tail, it's more a drop of the pelvic floor. And then we're going to go ahead and work on the shoulder joint in a way that we work on the hips. So we're going to start, and what you want to do, you might want another block underneath your hips here, because you want to make sure that your fingers clear the ground. And if you needed to sit on a chair for this, that's fine too. Because first we're going to start with extension and flexion. Lift the arms up. You will not be quizzed on any of this. It's just to feel the movement and bring the arms back and down. So lift the arms up and bring them back and down. We're going to do this just one more time because then we're going to isolate each shoulder. Notice what other parts of the body are moving here as we go front and back. And then come back center and let the palms turn to face your body, and then go out to the side and back in. Out to the side and back in. We're going to fly away, out to the side and back in. And then this one, the next one is rotation. So make a cup with your hand and start with the palms facing behind you, and then turn from the upper arm, turn the arms from the upper arm so the palms face forward and go outward. And then go all the way inward. So it's not even where we started, it's even further. So it's like the palms might even start to turn to face whatever is on your side. Do that 2 more times. Rotating. Good. At the upper arm. And then take your left hand to your left thigh and start the first movement again with the right arm. So right arm goes up and down. When the arm lifts, it's actually shoulder flexion. And when the arm goes down, it's shoulder extension. It's a little counterintuitive. Think of keeping the rest of the body still as you do this. We'll do this one more time. So we'll do 4 each individually. And notice if there's any tilting in the pelvis. Now turn the palm to face you and then go out to the side and bring the shoulder back in, or the arm back in. Out to the side, bring the shoulder back in. 2 more, out to the side, bring the shoulder back in, out to the side, and bring it back in. Now make a cup with your right hand and go out and in 4 times. And we're going to make this maybe a little bit more exciting. Out and in, keeping the rest of the body still, noticing what feels tight, what doesn't feel as tight. 1 more time, out and in. And then we're going to kind of cross a diagonal. So start by bringing your right arm out to the left, like you're going towards 10 o'clock, and then go all the way back and around. The upper body stays as still as possible. So think you're drawing the circumference of a circle at a diagonal to your body. 1 more of these. And then switch directions. So you're going to go back and around, right? The upper body stays still, back and around. Back and around. Now, 1 more time, there's going to be a different ending here. Back and around, keep the cup of your right hand and then bring it to your left knee. Take your left hand behind you, bring it to your sacrum. Let the heel of the hand be at where our hands were before. The fingers point down. Inhale, let your sacrum go into your hands, lift up through the crown of the head and start to turn from the center of the chest. Let your left arm reach back behind you. Make a cup with the left arm and sweep the arm around and in front of you, crossing the left arm over the right, crossing at the forearms. Round your back and use the crossing of the forearms to keep your collarbones open, even as the back is round. Feel like there's almost a pull backwards from the middle of your back, like a drawing back. Maybe pull is not the right word there. And then sit up tall, nothing extra fancy there. Actually, don't sit up tall. Opposite elbows. Find opposite elbows. Don't worry if you didn't get the right crossing. There's no right or wrong here. Open up the windows, your collarbones. Feel like you're looking out them slightly to the right. And then can you perceive, like kind of the work we did at the very beginning, can you bring the center of your chest right over the center of your pelvis using your imagination? So for me, yes, saw that so good in looking at the computer, looks so good. So that you're stacking your upper body on top of your lower body and using that to actually elevate your vision. Turn slightly to the right there. Come back center, take the hands to the left. And we'll start this on the left side. Left arm goes up, left arm goes back, trying to keep the rest of the body still. This can be secretly challenging, maybe not so secretly. Go forward and up, or maybe it's really easy. And if it feels like really easy, focus on the stillness of the rest of the body. Okay, now let's go out and in, out to the side and in. And this one, focus on not elevating the shoulder. So think that there's almost a little resistance you're putting in underneath your hand. One more. And then make the cup with your palm. Turn the cup out, turn it in. See if you can seal the cup, meaning let the fingers be together here so there's no leak. And then soften any tension there is in that formation of the cup. Last time, go out. Last time, go in. Keep the cup, let the hand turn out a little bit, and then cross over to the right there with your left arm and circle back. Try to keep the torso as still as possible. Nice. You might be feeling some muscles kind of go a little, like not pop, but open up a little. Let's switch the direction. Go back and around, back and around. Back and around. One more time, back and around. Left hand finds the right knee. Right hand finds your sacrum. Use your hand to stack and organize the second floor on top of your first floor. Chest on top of hips. Take your right arm back behind you. Lift the right arm up, making the cup, coming all the way around your sphere, crossing the right hand on top of the left, rounding the back, using the forearms to keep the collarbones open, and then bring your hands to your elbows and look slightly to the left here. And again, use your breath, use the work we've done to bring the center of your chest right over the center of your pelvis, elevate your vision, look slightly to the left. Nice. Make your way onto your hands and your knees, all fours. I'm going to bring everybody closer to me. And once you set up in your table, reach your right arm forward and open up your palm again, making your cup. Bring your right wrist to the ground with your right fingers facing your thigh. Open up your windows, spread out through the tops of your feet and circle around your right wrist so that we're putting the shoulder really as the center point as the center of the circumference. And it's not as literal because we can't go this evenly around the shoulder, but think you're really at the shoulder joint. Nice. Yes. Good. Next time you come around, pause. Go ahead and sit. So you might get a block or two and sit high on your shins. And if it's too much, sit cross-legged. Sit back, bring your right hand out in front of you. You can stand on your shins too here. Open your right arm out to the side. Nice. And then go ahead and bring the right hand either to the ground here or to the outer thigh if you're standing on your shin. Take your left hand to the back of your head. Turn from the center of the chest, from the right shoulder blade to the left collarbone. Nice. Think you're going to make a little more of a cup with your left armpit. Yes. And good, good, good. Nice, Molly. So good. Turn from the center of the chest just a little bit more. Now lift up through your left elbow and see if you can rotate your right shoulder in and find Gomukhasana arms. Now, maybe it's just the hint of Gomukhasana arms. Stand on the shins and move your seat back a little bit, tilting your pelvis forward like we were doing at the beginning. So stick your butt out. Let that put you in your feet. And then think that you're going to bring your sacrum back, unfold at the hip joint, stack the center of the chest right over the center of the pelvis, elevate your vision. Move your seat back. So basically it's like a little cow and then neutral spine. Sit back there. Let that put you in your feet just a little bit. That's it. And then come out of that, lifting up through the center of your chest. Nice, Stephanie. So good. One more time. Folding at the hip joint, getting that nice availability in your collarbones, and then keeping that availability as you plug back in. From here, step your right foot forward. Take your left hand to the ground right on the inside of your right foot, like really next to it. Tuck your left toes under, lift your left knee. I'm going to go into the plants here and see if you can bring your right hand close to your left hip. Now, lift up through your left hamstrings, lift up through your seat a little bit, and then lunge your right knee forward, look out in front of you and turn from the center of the chest. Lift your right arm up. Take your right arm over your ear, kind of like what we were doing at the very beginning, spinning around your sphere. All 10 toes are going to turn to the left for wide straddle forward fold. Yeah, nice. Take your time there for sure. Now we're going to narrow the straddle. Before we do that, go ahead and set up your blocks at the front corner of your mat. You're going to narrow the straddle so you can cup your heels with your hands and bring your knees into the cups of your armpits. Let your head drop. Shift your weight into your heels for a moment, and then shift the weight into the balls of the feet. Now that might seem completely different from what we were just doing, but in a way it's not. So shifting into the heels is more of the fold and the tilt of the pelvis. Shifting into the balls of the feet, in a way there's a slight unfold, even in this shape, which is, to be redundant, a deep fold. Now roll up to stand, letting go. Let the arms kind of hang out here. Press into an imaginary wall behind you once you get there. And then lift the arms up. Nice. Good, good, good. Now tilt the pelvis forward again, which means the butt bones go back. So we're finding this cow shape again. And then bring your sacrum back and your hips forward, your thighs and hips forward so that you're plugged in. See if your vision elevates. Yes, Kristen. Drop your arms, interlace your hands behind your back. Bring your hands to your left outer hip. Lift the left heel, spin or turn on the ball of the left foot to face the front of your mat. Turn your right toes out. Now, bend your left knee a little bit, lengthening in the fronts of your hips. There's like a little, you're not leaning back, but it's like a reverse plank. It's coming from the hip, so the head does go back. Now, bend the right knee and fold at your hip joint. Keep pressing your left hip into your hands. You're going to reach for your blocks and then lift your left heel higher, lengthen your right leg. So it's like a short pyramid pose. Good. Lift up through the left heel and reach back through it at the same time. Think the outer hips are going out and inner thighs are drawing in. When the outer hips go out, that's the tilt forward of the pelvis. That's the, in a way, lifting your seat. And inner thighs draw in is taking that tilt out slightly, moving the pubis, the navel, and the sternum forward. So good, Will. Now, let go of your blocks so you can also use them here. You're going to bring your arms back with your wrist flipped. So you're going to nestle your right armpit kind of right outside of your right knee and let your head drop. This is like a little challenging in this shorter stance here. It might be challenging in any stance. And then outer hips out.
Feel like you're lifting your seat, inner thighs in. Feel like that gives you a sense of a slight unfold in the fold, so you're not getting too caught there. Good. Now take your hands out in front of you. Drop your left, or right underneath your shoulders rather. Drop your left knee, bring your right knee to the ground, all fours. It wasn't that fancy. Now, reach your left arm forward. You can take your block and bring it between your heels. Bring your left arm forward, flip your palm, so you're making a cup, and then bring your left wrist to the ground right underneath your shoulder. So your wrist should be lined up. Open up the left collarbone a little bit more, spread out through the tops of the feet, and then circle around your left wrist with your imagination. Good. Spreading out through the top of the foot or the feet. And anytime you come forward, think you're leading with your sternum rather than the shoulder. Good. Good. Couple more times. And then next time you're coming forward, pause. Now, start to move back on your block, or you might stand on your shin. Reach your left arm forward with the wrist flipped. Open up the collarbone. Take the arm out to the side. Bring the hand to the ground or the hand to the thigh if you're standing on your shin. Right hand behind your head, wherever you are. It's a side bend to the left, but a counter twist to the right from the center of the chest. So you're actively lifting off of the left hand as much as you're finding the ground with it. Plug in a socket. Now lift up through your right elbow to lift your left hand off the ground or off of the thigh, and then turn your left palm in. Bend the left elbow, hint at Gomukhasana arms here, and stand on your shins. Take your time there. Once you're here, arch the back from the lower body, moving your seat back. Let that put you in your feet. And then stay in your feet as you take the arch out, moving your thighs and hips forward, lifting up through your lungs. Arch the back slightly, keep rotating both armpits. And then take the arch out, plugging in. So the second floor of your chest is right on top of your first floor of your pelvis. One more time. And this is what it means to back bend from the hips. It's not back bending from the pelvic bones. It's back bending from the thighs. Good. Now we'll step the left foot forward and start to move your chest forward. Bring your right hand to the ground on the inside of your left foot. Slide your left hand to your outer right hip, and then lift your right hamstrings up. Lift your right knee up, and then lift your right hamstrings. Lift up through your seat again. Think your outer hips go out. Let this even start to lengthen your left leg. Inner thighs draw in, rebend the left knee, turn from the center of the chest, lift your left arm up. Take your left arm over your ear, and then all 10 toes are gonna turn to the right for your wide straddle. This is maybe a good time to set up the block, bring it back to the top of your mat, and then bring your feet closer together, hands to heels, knees to armpits, and think you're right in the middle of those two things, going back into the heels, going forward into the balls of the feet. And you get just what you need. If you need to go back a little bit, you go back. If you need to go forward, you go forward. Roll up to stand. Letting the hands kind of press into an imaginary wall behind you, get a little taller. Lift the arms up. Arch the back, inhale. Let that put you in your heels. Take the arch out, exhale, drop the arms simultaneously. Inhale, interlace your hands behind your back, switch the index finger in front. Take the hands to your right outer hip. Exhale here. Inhale, lift through the right heel and start to turn towards the front of your mat. Turn your left toes out. Pause, bend the right knee, get taller. Now, as you bend the right knee, let that give you the hinge back. Nice. Good. Kind of push into the ball of the left foot a little bit more. So there's a little piece of you staying organized and oriented forward. Yes, Molly, so good. Bend the left knee. Yes, Michaela. Good, so good. Fold at your hip joint. Take your fingertips out to the block. Think sternum forward, arms plug back, and start to lengthen your left leg. So it's a short pyramid pose. Good, good. Nice. Hips to 3 and 9, outer hips out. That's a fold, by the way. That cue, anytime you get it, is a folding cue. even though it might not be so perceived as that, right? But that brings you into the fold of your hips. Inner thighs in is an unfolding cue. Pubic bone forward is an unfolding cue. Good. Now, flip your wrists and bring your hands back. Fingers face backwards. Left knee nestles into the left armpit. Head descends. See if you can use the contact here, and you can use your blocks here as well. Between the hands and the floor, the hands and the blocks, to open up your collarbones a little bit more. Good. Okay. Take your hands out in front of you, downward facing dog. Our first down dog. Pedal out through the feet, paw out through the hands. Kind of alternate between hand, hand, foot, and foot. If you're playing with all your contact. And take plank pose. Find your measure, check your measure. Wrists underneath the shoulders, feet rooted into the ground. Lift up through your seat. So the tilt of the pelvis is what brings you back into down dog. Really find that. Yes, Mikhail, so good. Nice. And then unfold into your plank and fold into your down dog. Let's get our blocks and set them up as scaffolding as we explore our up dog, plank, our down dog into plank, and then down dog into up dog transition. So the first thing we're going to do is find your down dog and see if you can bend the knees and bring your forehead to the blocks. And the ears are right inside of your arms. From here, plank pose first, finding that unfold in the pelvis, and then bring your thighs and your pelvic bones to the blocks. Lifting up through the center of your hamstrings, moving forward up and over yourself. Fold back into your down dog, initiating the movement in your pelvis, bringing your forehead back to the blocks. Do this about 5 times. Good. Think it's really in your hip joint. Oh, Erica, I like the block stand-in today. Nice. So good. Think in your up dog, beautiful cat. In your up dog, you're lifting up through the center of your hamstrings, just a little bit more. Stephanie, gorgeous. All right, I think that was more than 5. Let's go ahead and take the blocks and bring them back to the corners of the mat. And we'll build on some of these themes. So right leg is going to lift, 3-legged dog. Bend your left knee. That first lift, it's the fold. Now we're going to open up the right hip. Bring the right heel towards your left buttock bone. But I want you to find a little drawing in of your inner thighs there so that your left butt bone doesn't sink. Lift the left butt bone even higher, Kristen. Nice. Now, square the hips. Straighten the right leg, look forward, inhale. Step your right foot on the inside of your right hand, exhale. Drop the left knee. Untuck the toes, take the hands to 2 and 10, and then runner stretch here. Let that put you in your left foot a little bit more. It's like the tilt of the pelvis back. Nice. Move your lungs forward. Now take both hands to the left corner of your mat. Move your left hip slightly forward till it's right on top of your left knee, and move your left hip to the left. So there's room to plug your right thigh back a little bit more. Nice. Rebend your right knee. Tuck your left toes under. So right knee's over the ankle. Lift the left knee and keep moving your left hip out to the left. And feel like your left heel has contact with something behind it. All 10 toes turn to the left, wide straddle. We're going to keep the straddle wide as we roll up. Lift the arms up. Drop the arms, interlace your hands behind your back. Bring your hands to your left outer hip. Lift the left heel, pivot on the ball of the left foot, and turn to face the front of the mat. Turn the right toes out. It's a little interesting with this length. Now bend the left knee a little bit, just to kind of bring you into extension in the hip, no fold there. Good. And then bend the right knee, folding at the hip. Reaching your lungs forward, take your hands to blocks and start to lengthen your right leg. Good. Move your left hip to the left just a little bit more so there's a little more room. Yes, Will, so good. Sternum forward, head can drop. Can we drop the head without bringing the shoulders into the ears? Can you make cups with your armpits to facilitate that? Good. Okay. Take one of your blocks with you. And this is going to be like a little awkward setup. So actually take a block and try to set it up right underneath your left heel. And if it becomes too annoying, get rid of it. Now, take your hands and flip the wrists. Now, if you were using blocks for this, keep the block underneath your right hand. And your left fingers can be tented. We're going to lift it off the ground in a minute anyway. Look forward. Right knee to armpit, left hip to the left. Good. And then left hand to your sacrum. Nice. Hips at 3 and 9. That's the fold. Bring your lungs forward. Inner thighs in. Unfold. Bring the lungs even more forward. Left arm lifts. Nice. Now open the collarbones. Step into your left foot to get around yourself. Good. Lift off the center of the right palm and turn from the center of the chest. Left arm over your ear. Both hands to the ground. Nice. Let your right leg lengthen and then find your down dog. Now, take a moment, set up that block back in front, and we'll use it again in a moment. Plank into your up dog, referencing the blocks, catching yourself with your feet, and then downward facing dog from there. Left leg lifts, bend the knee, open the hip, but then draw your inner thighs towards each other so your right butt bone lifts, even a little bit more. So your right inner knee tracks over your big and second toe. Straighten the left leg, AKA square the hips, lengthen your leg. That's not AKA, that's not right. Step your left foot on the inside of the left hand. Take your hands slightly wider than the corners of the mat, drop your right shin. Start to move your seat back. So this is really coming from the pelvis. So as we set ourselves up in our lower bodies, our upper bodies are kind of free to roam and finding where we get stuck or more open. Now take your hands to the right and move your right hip to the right here, just a little bit. So you feel that in your left hip, right? As your right hip moves to the right, you have more space. Now rebend your left knee. Tuck your right toes under. Lift your right knee off the ground. Keep moving your right hip to the right here. As you lunge your left knee forward, as you look out to the right, and then all 10 toes turn to the right for wide straddle. Roll up to stand in your wide straddle. Lift the arms up. Drop the arms, interlace your hands behind your back. Check out where your upper body and your lower body are and see if you can stack your upper body on top of your lower body. Lift your right heel. Turn towards the front of your mat. Turn your left toes out. Put a little bend in the right knee. And then put a bend in the left knee, straightening the right leg. Looking out to the front of your mat. Stretch your hands to the front of your mat. Start to lengthen your left leg, lifting up through your right heel. Reaching your sternum forward and plugging your arms back. Think you're elongating your torso from the front and then mediate that by drawing the inner thighs towards each other. That's a little bit of a counterbalance. Now set up your block behind your right foot and then start to bring your arms back. So if you worked with blocks before, keep the block underneath the left hand here. Start with the arms as even as possible. See if you can rest your heel on that back block. If not, Imagine it's there. Right hand to your sacrum. Outer hips out. Tilt the pelvis forward. I'm saying the same thing different ways. Inner thighs in. Move your pubic bone forward. Nice. Nice. Michaela, see if you can bring your left block back a little more. It looks so good, Will. Lungs forward, and then start to turn from the center of the chest, lifting your right arm up. Yes, Erica. Yes, Kristen. Everybody looks amazing here. Good, good. Nice. Use your right hip a little more, Stephanie. Move it out to its own side. Yeah, and then turn from the center of the chest. Beautiful. These are great. Right arm over your head. Take your time there. Let that linger. Play in your sphere. Right hand to the ground. Downward dog. And whenever you want to move your blocks, move your blocks. Plank pose on the inhale. Upward dog. Downward dog as you exhale. So let's walk to the top of the mat and then run currency or current through the body in a Surya namaskar. So 2 fists start between the arches of the feet. Let your head drop and find a skier's pose. Looking out in front of you, fingers stretch back, lungs come forward. Unfold, lift your arms up, hook your thumbs. Shift your weight forward slightly so your pelvic floor is right over the center of your feet, and elevate your lungs and your vision. Actually don't find your skier's pose. Drop your right arm, find a side bend. Twist to the left from the center of the chest, rotate your left armpit. Exhale, round over your legs. Inhale, lunge your left leg back behind you. Look out in front of you. Drop your left knee, exhale. And then reach your arms forward, interlacing your hands, bringing your arms by your ears, coming up into a low crescent. Think you're keeping your hips at 3 and 9. Take the torso to your right thigh, hands to the ground, downward facing dog. Plank pose into your tuck-toed, upward facing dog. Downward facing dog from here. Right leg lifts on the breath in. Bend the knee, open up the hip as you breathe out. Square the hips and step the right foot forward on the breath in. Drop your left knee. Interlace your hands again, lift the arms up. Breathe in. Now exhale, skier's pose. Inhale, come all the way up, hook your thumbs, pelvic floor over the center of your feet. Drop the left arm, round over your legs. Lunge your right leg back. Breathe in, drop the right knee, breathe out, interlace your hands. Bring your palms forward, inhale. Torso to thigh, hands to the ground, down dog, exhale. Plank into your up dog, breathing in. Downward facing dog, breathe out. Left leg lifts, inhale, open up the hip, bend the knee, exhale. Inhale, lengthen the leg and step the foot forward. Exhale, drop your knee. Inhale, palms forward, move forward and up. Exhale, skier's pose. Inhale, hook the thumbs, come on up. Exhale, drop the right arm and round over your legs. Inhale, left leg back. This is going to be on one breath in. Knee to the ground, palms forward, move forward and up. Exhale, torso to thighs, hands to the ground, down dog. Inhale, plank into an up dog. Exhale, down dog. All right, right leg up, breathe in, open up the hip, breathe out. Side plank, breathing in, stepping the right foot in front of the left, right arm reaches forward. Look forward. Step your right foot to the top of the mat. Nice, yes. Inhale, drop your left knee. Hands are there, right hand is there. Interlace it with the left, go forward and up. Skier's pose, exhale. Come up, unfold, hook the thumbs, inhale. Left arm drops, exhale, round over your legs. Right leg lunges back, knee to the ground. Interlace your hands, move forward and up, breath in. Downward facing dog, breathing out. Plank into your up dog, inhale. Down dog, exhale. Left leg lifts, breathe in, bend the knee, open up the hip. Breathe out, go into your side plank, stepping your left foot in front of your right. Inhale, hips come towards the side of the room, look towards the front of your mat, step your left foot forward. Exhale, right knee to the ground, interlace your hands, inhale, move forward and up. Exhale, skier's pose. Woo. Inhale, hook the thumbs, coming up, there's one more round. Drop your right arm, round over your legs, exhale. Left leg back, knee to the ground, palms move forward and up, inhale. Okay, hands to the ground. This is optional. Maybe keep your hands interlaced and find your down dog. Maybe not. Plank into an up dog, inhale. Good. Down dog, exhale. Now, you might have to drop the knees if your hands are interlaced. Let's all uninterlace our hands. Right leg lifts. Bend the knee, open the hip. Now, as you turn this into your side plank, turn your right knee to face the ceiling and either find the right knee with the right hand. You can do this with your left shin on the ground or the big right toe. Nice. I know. I had to turn around and look. Yes, good. Look at the top of the mat. Step your right foot forward. That was a lot. Drop your left knee, interlace your hands, move the arms forward and up. Now this time in your skiers, go ahead, interlace your hands behind your back. Nice. Come on up, hook the thumbs. Drop the left arm, round over your legs. Step your right leg back. Knee to the ground, palms face forward, move forward and up. Hands to the ground, option to separate the hands or keep the interlacing as you go into your down dog. Plank into an up dog. These look so good. Nice, downward dog. Maybe drop the knees if the hands are interlaced, uninterlace them. We'll all meet back in our down dogs. Lift the left leg, bend the knee, open the hip. The trick, if there is one here, and it is a trick, all these kind of things are little tricks, you're gonna move forward into your side plank as the left knee turns towards the ceiling. And then maybe catch the knee, maybe catch the toe. Tree pose, great. Now, you're gonna look forward at the front of your mat first, then step the left foot forward. Drop the right knee. Palms move forward and up, breathe in. Torso moves forward, skier's pose, interlace your hands behind your back. Now this time we're gonna fold into our legs and hang out here. Bring the heels of the hands together. And think that your collarbones, your outer, think your armpits go out. And then think that your shoulder blades go in. It's not perfectly the same as what we're doing in the lower body, but it gives us a similarity there. Play with your pinky fingers making more contact, play with the index fingers making more contact. And then bend your knees, reach your arms out in front of you, find opposite elbows, find your chair pose. Good. Stand all the way up. Pelvic floor right over the center of the feet. Thigh bones back, knees forward. Retrace your steps. We're going to do a few folds here. So as you find your hang, measure your feet inner hips distance. Okay. Now we're going to do 3 folds. Crown of the head here comes towards the center of your feet. I want you to interlace your hands, not like we were just doing, but like we did at the very beginning of practice. Bring the interlaced hands, the backs of your hands right to your sacrum. And let your forehead and knees come towards each other, or forehead and shins. And the crown of the head is going to drop towards the center of your feet. Nice. I think there's a lot of air in your hamstrings. Now, shift your weight into your heels so your butt bones go back slightly. You don't want to lean into them. Use that so when you start to bend the knees stay over the ankles. So start to bend your knees, look at your ankles, and keep the wrinkles out. And that's coming from moving the thighs back. Start to come halfway up. So the crown of the head is the height, or the back of your head is the height of your sacrum. And then unfold from your torso. Just lift your torso up first. Move your sternum forward. That's it. Then stand all the way up. Pelvic floor over the center of your feet. Reach your arms forward. Make soft fists with your hands. Retrace your steps with this slightly different arm variation. Knees forward, thighs back. Find the clarity of the fold. Pausing when there's contact between your torso and thighs and using that contact to move forward and back even more. Fold all the way down. Let the hands find the ground. Let your head fall right to the center of your feet. Nice. Shift your weight back, shift your weight forward. Go to the left, go to the right. Go all the way around yourself. This time, as you retrace your steps, your arms are going to go back by your ears, making those soft fists. Reaching your arms out in front of you. Pause when you're halfway there. Rotate your armpits, look forward. Stick your butt out a little bit more. Like this is the fold. This is like what we were doing on our shins at the beginning. Then unfold, bringing your hips forward to elevate your vision. Opposite elbows. Switch the elbow on top just so it goes against sort of what we usually do, playing with a different technique, and then retrace your steps. So keep going, but I'm going to show that in a way, this is this, right? When we moved back here and then came back up, like we're playing with the same fold. So let the first movement bring you into your heels and your feet a little bit more. Pause when you're halfway there and then go all the way down, lifting from your seat, letting the forehead rest on your forearms. Or sorry, let the crown of your head rest on your forearms. Let the knees go to the armpits. The tongue go to the center of your palate. So good. And then we'll retrace our steps. Bend your knees, look forward. Bring the crown of your head to your forearms. Rotate your armpits when you're halfway there. Look out your windows. That's it, Will. And then come all the way up. Shifting your weight slightly forward without losing your heels. And stand all the way up there. Good. Pick whatever arm variation you want to come back. And then we'll fold and make our way back into down dog. Take your time. All right. Drop your knees. Actually, don't drop your knees. Stay in down dog for a moment. Walk your hands back just a little bit. Rotate the armpits, bend the knees so there's more contact between your torso and thighs. Slightly shorter down dog. Bring your left forearm behind your back. Test that out just a little bit. Okay. Bring your left hand back. Bring your right forearm. Just kind of test the waters here for a second. Now bring your right hand back. We're going to do that again on the left. The first thing I want you to do is bend the knees, of course, so that you're in your hip joint. But slowly, instead of bringing the forearm behind the back, just slowly extend the left arm by the side of the waist, kind of like what we did at the beginning. And then open up your left collarbone, like what we were doing sitting, so that you're still in your frame. Then bring the forearm behind your back. Then bend the knees a little bit more and rotate your right armpit. Good. 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 Take your left hand back to the ground. Do that on the other side. So start slowly. Right arm goes by the side of the waist, trying to keep the rest of the body still, which means there's a lot of micro movements and nuance. Bring the right forearm behind your back. Set up your frames. Nice. Rotate your left armpit. Step into your right foot. Bend the knees. And right hand goes back. Downward facing dog. Okay. One more thing here. Right hand is going to go to your left heel. I haven't done this one in a while. Step on your right hand with your heel, right? Instead of grabbing, bend the right knee, letting the right knee go to the armpit and turn from the center of the chest. Now here, outer hips out, inhale. Inner thighs in, exhale. Outer hips out to give you the fold. Inner thighs in to bring your right knee to your armpit and then bring your chin to your left armpit. Take your right hand to the ground. We'll do this on the left side. Left hand is going to go to the right heel. Bend the left knee, bringing the left knee to the left armpit. Outer hips out, inner thighs in. Find your fold, bringing the left hand to the right heel, your back bend, left knee to the left armpit, and then your twist, your chin to your right armpit. Rotate the right armpit a little bit more. Now bring your left hand to the ground. Good. So good. Drop your knees and stand on your shins. Interlace your hands behind your back where we had them before, a few times today at the sacrum. See if you can get your pinkies to touch a little bit more. And then bend, well, your knees are bent, but bend at your hip. So in a way that is bending your knees more, even though the action's not at the knee. So just move your seat back a little bit and bring your forehead to the ground. Now, if the forehead is the ground is too far, and you need to keep your hips a little higher, set up some blocks underneath your forehead. And then look forward. This looks so good. Come all the way up. And unfold at your hip joint. Good. Lift up through the sternum a little more, Molly. So bring your sternum forward, but everything else the same. Yeah. And then fold, moving your seat back, bringing your head to the ground or to blocks, unfolding again at your hip joint. Okay. Stay here or bring your hands to your heels. And when you unfold, you want to try to keep the contact. You know, it's not 100% the same because we're playing with a little bit of a different angle. But see if you can keep all the work we've done in the pelvis as we've moved back and forth from this shape. So that's where it's really coming from. It's like the folds we were just doing at the tops of the mat, at the top of the mat. Nice. So one little note, and there's different techniques. You can round into this too. It's not that that's wrong, but play with the idea of looking forward here before you come up into the camel, and then keep looking forward until that last moment where you drop your head. These are really good. Nice. All right. The next thing we're going to do is restorative. So you might want your blanket here instead. You might use 2 blocks. So if you were to use your blanket instead, it would be underneath your upper back. So you're going to set up your blocks, kind of move out of the way, like an upside down T. So the stem of your T is towards the back of your mat. Some of you might, again, want to use a blanket instead of this block that I'm patting. It's going to go underneath your shoulder blades. And some of us might want to make that one a little bit higher. No, you can change your mind at any time once you see what we're doing. So we're basically playing with a fish variation. So you bring your block to your lower thoracic, your mid-thoracic, and then you bring the block underneath your head. Now I have the second block lengthwise here so that you can find opposite elbows. Now it might make sense for you to have both blocks at the same level, okay? It might be fine to have that second block a little bit higher. Now, once you're here, spend a moment or two, once you figured out where you want to be, spend a moment or two in constructive rest, knees touch, feet wide. And constructive rest is always to accentuate not always, but it accentuates the folding of the hips and the outer hips moving out. Now extend your legs out in front of you and bring your legs together and bring your hands to the fold of your hips here, right where the pelvic bones lift and the pelvic bones and thigh bones meet. And lengthen your tailbone slightly towards your heels. So there's a slight unfolding there, just ever so slightly. And see if you can keep that as you bring your arms back into either opposite elbows. You can open your arms out to the side. You can cactus them. Cactusing feels really, really nice here. And if for any reason this length in your legs isn't working for your back, go back to constructive rest. And we're going to stay here for about 15 breaths. The one thing I want you to pay attention to with your breath, and if you have other things to work with here, please feel free to utilize them, is slowing down the beginnings, the beginning of the inhale and the beginning of the exhale. About 5 more breaths here if you want to change your arm position. You can stretch your arms behind you. You can even interlace your hands behind your head. And then to come out of it, bend your knees and pick a side to roll to. Don't roll yet. Anchor your forearm on that side. Tuck your chin into that shoulder and then lift up, a roll over to that side, but give yourself a little lift with the forearm. Come up to sit and set up for a little pranayama. So either sit on a block or sit cross-legged. I'm going to do 2 different things. First thing is alternate nostril breathing with your non-dominant hand. So bring your index finger and ring finger, nope, I lied, index finger and middle finger to the space between your eyebrows, your thumb above one nostril, your ring finger above another nostril. Depending on what arm is dominant, use the other arm. Let the elbow be shoulder height. Breathe into both nostrils. Breathe out of both. Now breathe into both again. Close your left nostril and breathe out of the right. Breathe into your right nostril. Close. Breathe out of your left. Now breathe into your left nostril, your left lung, your left ear. And breathe out of your right nostril, your right lung, and your right ear. Now breathe into your right nostril, right lung, right ear, and with the imagination, your left kidney. Breathe out of your left ear, your left nostril, your left lung, and your left kidney. Breathe in, left nostril, left lung, left ear, right kidney. Breathe out, right nostril, lung, ear, kidney. Breathe in, right nostril, right lung, right ear, left kidney. Breathe out, left nostril, left lung, left ear, left kidney. Again, breathe in on the left. Cross-reference, fill up your right kidney with your imagination. And then breathe out everything on the right. Breathe in everything on the right and the left kidney, cross-referencing. Breathe out everything on the left. Let your left hand find your lap and see if we can keep the pattern. Breathe into the left nostril, left lung, left ear, right kidney. Breathe out everything on the right. Now, if this is actually happening perfectly, that doesn't matter. Let your imagination take you there. Right nostril, right lung, right ear, left kidney. Breathe out everything on the left. Open your arms. Interlace your hands behind your back and slide the backs of the hands to your shoulder blades. Thumbs go up right in the space between your shoulder blades, like you're making a coat hanger. Now, organize the center of your chest right over the center of your pelvis. Elevate your vision. Breathe in all directions, up, down, left, right, front, and back. Breathe out, find the center of your chest. Now breathe in, we're going to draw the infinity sign with our breath. Breathe in from the center of your chest to your right collarbone, to your right elbow. Start to turn to the right. Breathe out from your right elbow to your right shoulder blade, back to the center of your chest. So you draw a half loop on a full cycle of breath. Inhale from the center of your chest, left collarbone, left elbow. Breathe out, left elbow, left shoulder blade, back to the center of your chest. Breathe in around to the right and the front. Breathe out around the back and the right. Let it bring you back to your center. Breathe in around the front and the left. Breathe out around the back and the left. Now I'm going to teach this with alternate nostrils. So if that's not for you today, keep going. Keep doing what you're doing. But inhale out into your right nostril as you travel from the center of your chest, your right collarbone, and your right elbow. And then exhale out of your left nostril as you travel from your right elbow to your right shoulder blade back to the center of the chest. So there's almost pull from the opposite side that brings you back to the middle. Inhale into your left nostril as you travel from the center of the chest to your left collarbone, to your left elbow. And then exhale out of your right nostril as you travel from your left elbow to your left shoulder blade to the center of your chest. Breathe in on the right, travel from the right collarbone to the elbow. Breathe out on the left, travel from the right elbow to the right shoulder blade. Last time, breathe in on the left. And then breathe out of your right nostril as you travel around your back on the left. Come back to the middle. Let your hands slowly lower to your thighs. Take a moment here. Then interlace your fingers. That's a very quick moment. And send the palms up to the ceiling, putting your crown on. Organize the center of your chest right over the center of your pelvis. And then follow the line right from the center of your pelvis all the way through the center of the palms, all the way above you. Travel back down. Travel back up on an inhale. Tip yourself forward. Breathe in a little bit more. 3 sips of air through the mouth. Pause. 3 more. Pause. Hold the breath in for a moment. Sit back up on your center and then pop the cork. Let the breath out. Let rain fall all around you in the form of grace. Thank you so much. Have a wonderful day.